So yeah, Batman and Robin is a superhero film and is directed by Joel Schumacher and stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, George Clooney, Chris O'Donnell, Uma Thurman, and Alicia Silverstone. And the film follows Batman and Robin as they take on Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. We reluctantly watched this movie, and for those who don't know, this is generally considered to be one of the worst films of all time. And right away, I think we can all agree, this film is absolute shit. So, what did you guys think of the film?
It's horrific. It's a film I struggled to sit through. I fell asleep in some of it. It's ridiculous, over the top, and the colours it's just too much. It's an eyesore, too much going on.
It was absolutely horrible. Like, there was literally nothing about it that was
redeemable
good
in any way.
Yes, exactly. And the fact is that it used to be a movie that was so bad that it was good to watch, but after this watch through, I just can't. It's just too much. Really is too much.
Yeah, there's pretty much nothing. Like, not one good thing about this. Like, it's hard to defend anything about this film. Everything was done so piss poor. The acting was shit. The story was shit. The action set pieces were garbage. Production design, what a joke.
Poison Ivy, I think, is kind of an interesting character idea, but just the way they developed it and put it on screen, I thought was terrible. I thought Bane was wasted. Like, it's such a horrific way to use a character like that. That's quite an interesting character. And Mr. Freeze has a really interesting story. It's just not handled very well.
Yeah, both Poison Ivy and Bane are pretty much one-note villains. Like, barely anything about their backstory for us to really care about them. All they are is just to really, drive Mr. Freeze, who actually does have a good backstory. Unfortunately, he's played by, I'm sorry for Schwarzenegger fans, one of the worst actors ever. He's good as the Terminator because he's good playing a robot, but to play, a character with emotions and feelings, he cannot do it. He cannot act with emotions. He's not a good actor. And the actors on the hero side don't do any better. George Clooney is the worst Batman. When you see him play Bruce Wayne, you think, what good casting. And then when you see him play Batman, he has the same voice he uses to play Bruce Wayne. So it's like, how can you tell the difference? If someone was to go up to Batman in this film and say, you sound like Bruce Wayne. Are you Bruce Wayne? No one even tried on this film.
No, I think they gave up. Probably the beginning or halfway through, you could just tell they just didn't care about it anymore.
Yeah, because even like Chris O'Donnell said that even with Batman Forever, at least it felt like they were making a movie. Here, like he said, it felt like they were making a toy commercial.
Well, I'm not sure for you guys, but a lot of the scenes with Batman and everything, he just felt so awkward. Like especially in the late half of the film, every dialogue he gives, every bit of dialogue he gives, it's just awkward and just staged. And you can tell he's really acting through pretty much 100% of the film, because there's literally just nothing to it.
Well, when he's playing Bruce Wayne, that's Clooney being Clooney. Like, that's not acting, he's being himself. That's why it still works, but Batman's just terrible.
Yeah, Alicia Silverstone doesn't do any better either. She's supposed to be playing a British character, and yet she still has an American accent.
And a, Californian tan, which doesn't make any sense.
But that's the thing I found, a lot of the movie, they don't explain anything.
Yeah.
Like, it just happens, and it's just, you expect just to believe it, but there's nothing there to kind of grasp to. Like, stuff about, even like some stuff about the characters, even the villains, it's just things they do. Not explained, just things they do.
Yeah, so much happens in the film that just does not sit. Scenes come and go, and rarely do they leave an impact. Because you have action scene talking, action scene talking, action scene talking. Just the same formulaic stuff you would see in superhero films from this time period. And even though this film was made for children, it pushes it in, with sexual references. Because it's definitely confronting with the sexual references they get away with in the film. That whole scene with Poison Ivy at the auction house was like, okay, that's like, And speaking of the auction house, why was Batman and Robin there? And speaking of which, the Bat credit card.
That's a horrific choice. I don't know who came up with that at all.
It wasn't even funny though. It just didn't make sense.
It just was random. Just like, look, I've got a credit card. Don't leave the Batcave without it. What a moron.
Yeah, this film is campy as shit, and it's, dare I say, even campier than the 1960s Batman. This is just ridiculous, absurd, ludicrous, just bonkers, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like they return back to that 60s Batman, where Batman 1, 2, and parts of 3 were trying to do something a bit different, where this was just pandering to toy companies, but also back to the 60s Batman, which was really campy and silly.
Yeah.
And the technology that Batman has, he has a little buzzsaw, he has a laser. They have skates that come out of their shoes when they're fighting Mr. Freeze and his goons.
And a crap ton of grappling hooks.
Yeah, and they use scenes repeatedly. Like, they'll show a scene and then that scene will be used exactly the same again.
The production design is just laughable. Like, there's a scene near the end where Mr. Freeze is freezing the whole city and a police car crashes. And as soon as the cop, like, opens the door, the ice is just flopping. Like, how lazy is that?
A film that I will really not go back to. I'm not interested in watching any more of it. I'm a big fan of the original film and the second one, but that's about it for me.
One more thing I want to bring up before we wrap up is the writing. Oh boy, these lines, not very good. Like, Mr. Freeze is shit because all he says is puns after puns after puns. And we're going to give a demonstration of some of these horrendous lines said throughout the film, starting with, I want a car. Chicks dig the car.
Yeah, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age?
Time for hell to freeze over or something like that. Which doesn't make any sense because unless they are in hell. Well, I know I'm in hell watching it.
Yeah, none of these lines make any sense at all. Like you said, like, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. What? Overall, yeah, this film's pretty much bullshit. Just everything sucks. There's not one redeemable thing in the entire film. Everything just sucks.
Like, I remember watching this as a kid and then thinking this movie's kind of cool. And then watching it, every time I've watched it, it's got more and more awful every time I watch it. And this will honestly be the last time I watch that film in my life. I'm done. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, it's just bad. Like it's painful to sit through. I fell asleep in some of it. I got so bored with it. I'm just getting sick of looking at it, and I just can't bring myself to watch it ever again. No matter how much money people would pay me to watch it or review it again, I'm not going to do it. I just think it is atrocious and a waste of people's time. I want my 2 hours back, which I can't ever get. My scoring system's out of 5, so I'm going to give it 1 out of 5. I thought it was atrocious and a horrific film.
Every time I watch this as I grow older, it just continues to get worse and worse. Sadly, I will at some point in the future come back and watch this film again because I definitely want to show people this movie because just to show how truly awful this was. It sucked then, it sucks now, and I'm going to give Batman and Robin a 0 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you see, push like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my channel below. As always, I'm the NETX5, and this has been Film Guru and Alex. Thank you for watching.